Hey, it's working, apparently. Okay, let's take a look at those. We didn't have time yesterday to do the page 24, examples 3 and 4. And remember, for all this personal loan stuff, usually on a test question or exam, it will actually use the words personal loan. And as soon as you see that, your brain should be thinking, use the chart. Okay, use the chart. Okay, as soon as you see personal loan, use the chart. And then it's just a matter of knowing how to use the chart. And using the chart's not that hard. Okay, you just have to know when to use it. That's usually where students make their mistake. Okay, Amanda wants to purchase a new car, and she's going to borrow $25,000 for 4 years at an interest rate of 6.25%. So what are the two numbers I need to use the chart? I need this, the interest rate, and I need what else? The years. Okay, then once I've used those two numbers, I don't use them in any calculations, okay? That just tells me where to look on the chart. So I'm going to cross those off just to remind myself not to start doing calculations with them, okay? I just realized I did this. Okay. And anybody watching the videos will be like, why is he doing that? Okay. 4 years. So I go back to the chart, which is one page back. And it was 6.25% in 4 years. So I go to 6.25%. And I go across to 4 years. And I get this number, $23.61. That's what I need. That's your first step, okay? So, that's one page. On page 22 is the chart. So, from the chart, I get 20, what did I say, 23.61?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
From the chart, so $23.61.
So we just use the chart data
to find that number, yeah. That would be your first mark, like if it was a test question. You got the right number from the chart.
Do they give you like a chart like this?
You'll have it for your test, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll give you one. So 2361, same thing on like an exam, you'll have it, okay. What does that mean? So that's $23.61. What does it mean?
That's the interest.
So it's not the interest, it's the actual, it's the payment, okay? So $23.61 per month. Yeah, it's a payment per month per $1,000 borrowed. Okay, so then we use this 2361 and we're going to multiply it by how much we borrowed. So it's going to be 2361. We're going to have to divide by 1,000 every time. And we're just going to multiply by the total amount we borrowed, which was 25,000. Okay? So on a calculator, you're just going to go 2361. You're going to divide by 1,000, and you're going to multiply by 25,000. The order doesn't matter, actually. I could multiply by 25,000, divide by 1,000. It'll work, okay? So let's just punch it in. So $23.61 divided by 1,000 times 25,000 equals $590.25. So Jayanta is going to pay just under $600 a month if she wants to pay off that $25,000 car in 4 years. And it makes sense, right? Because it's going to be a pretty hefty payment to pay off that amount of money in such a short period of time. That's why some car dealerships will try to offer longer terms so the payment comes down.
Yeah.
Right? You'll see car dealerships offer 5 years or 7 years, to get your payment down. They have more devious ways of selling cars, which we'll eventually look at. So B, how much does she pay the bank in total? So in total over 4 years. Okay, well she's paying this much per month $590.25 per month. How many months are in a year? Times 12 months in a year. And how many years is she paying for? Times 4 years. So I'm going to take that amount, I'm going to multiply it by 12 months, and I'm going to multiply it by 4 years. Because she's going to make 4 times 12. She's going to make 48 payments before it's done. So take your amount times 12 times 4. So that's $28,332 paid. Sure. Paid in total. Okay? You'll know you've done this right if the answer you get is bigger than the amount you borrowed. Right? If you borrow $25,000 from a bank, you can be sure they want more than $25,000 back. What's that called? The extra money you're paying? What's that called?
Interest?
Interest, yeah. Bank profit, in this case, right? So that's usually your third question. Determine the total amount of interest. Let's call it what it is. That's bank profit. Okay. She paid. Any idea how I would do that? Figure out how much interest that is? How much extra did Jayanta pay?
28.33.
This is the total amount paid, but some of it was the loan. How do I figure out how much of it was interest? Yeah, you just need to know the difference, right? And what's the math operation for difference? Total would be when we add everything up. Difference would be subtract. So you just have to go total paid, and you'll always do this in these questions. Total paid minus the amount borrowed, which is $28,332 minus the amount we borrowed, which was $25,000. I still have that number in my calculator, so I can just subtract the starting amount. $3,332 interest paid. So another way to ask this question would be, how much money did the bank earn off of Jayanta for giving her this loan? You'd say, the bank made this much money. That's the amount of profit. Okay? So that's bank profit. It also explains why, remember I talked about the idea before that if you had millions of dollars and you put it into a bank, they'll pay you just to have that money? Because what are they doing with it? They're lending it out. So if you give them a couple $1 million and you let them use that money, they use it to make more money, right? Pretty smart business. Take someone else's money, lend it out to somebody here, make more money lending it out, and give the people that you're borrowing the money from less. It's pretty smart business. Okay. Does that make sense there, how we did that? Okay. So this is, you can be guaranteed that this will be the kind of question you get on a test. Find the payment, find out the total amount paid back, and find out how much interest was paid. Okay? And you do it in that method. Use the chart, divide by 1,000, multiply by the loan, then multiply by months and years, and then subtract the amount borrowed from the total. So it's kind of a multi-step thing. But once you've done it enough times, you should be okay with it. Okay, example 4. Abdi needs to buy a new fridge. He sees one that is priced at $1,359 before tax. That's a pretty good fridge. You get cheaper ones, can't you? That must be nice. Maybe it's got like an ice maker in it. Never buy a fridge with an ice maker. Anytime I've gone to someone's house and they have an ice maker, it's broken. Every single time, like, was that an ice maker? Like, it's broken. So, just looks cool. Okay. He will borrow the money he needs from the bank for 3 years at this amount of interest. So these are the numbers I'm going to use for the chart, right? But before that, A, how much money does Abdi need to borrow to purchase the fridge? So if Abdi borrowed $1,359, would that be enough money to buy it? No. It's before tax, you're right. So good that you recognize that. Before tax, I need to add the tax on. So $1,359. And we're assuming we're going to have to pay both taxes, right?
Yeah.
So if you pay both taxes, what's the percentage? 13%, yes, that's 13%. Is there a quick way I can get from here to adding the tax on? What can I multiply by? 1.13, yeah. And that will very quickly take me, so this adds the tax, right? This adds the tax. So that will quickly take me to the new total, and that's the amount I'm going to need to borrow. So 1359 times 1.13. $1,535.67. That's got to be a nice fridge, $1,500 fridge, stainless steel. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those ones that got fridges that'll like order food for you. Have you seen those? No? They actually like have like computer electronics in them, and like you put your like milk in a certain spot, and when the milk is gone, or it gets below a certain amount, it's got like weight sensors and stuff. It'll order milk for you from a store and it'll deliver it for you. Yeah. Isn't that messed up?
This orders a bunch of milk, but I don't want this milk.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be worried that like the fridge would just keep reordering stuff I don't want, you know, just because I bought something once, tried it out and I didn't like it, and I just keep showing up. I'm like, I don't want this anymore. Okay. B, how much interest will Abdi pay back in total after the 3 years? Okay, well there's a fair amount of work we need to do first, right? We need to do everything we did in example 3. So, we better find the payment first. Using the chart, we need to find the payment. So let's go look for 3 years, 2.25%. I'm going to cross those out.
It only goes with the $3.
Oh, we don't need the payment in this one. Oh, that's good news. Okay. He'll borrow the money he needs from the bank for 3 years at 2.25% interest. Oh, okay. For this one, it's only asking about interest, so okay, so we don't have to do all that work. That's great. So interest paid. We did this before, right? So interest paid is just going to be the amount you borrow, right? 1535.67. Remember that's I equals, do you remember the formula? P R T, yeah. So there's my P, my principal amount. What's my rate? 2.25. Okay, so that's my R there. Good. So how do I express that as a decimal? 0.0225. And how many years? 3. Okay, so then we can just punch that in. So 1535.67 times 0.0225 times 3. $103.66. So it's not too bad, right? But the loan amount wasn't 25,000, it was 1,500, so it's not going to be that bad for interest. Also, this 2.25% is a really low interest rate. So it makes sense you're not going to pay that much in interest when the interest rate's that low. Okay. Now, if it was like a credit card, which would be more like 22%, this would be like 10 times as big. Think how scary that is. If this person decided to buy that refrigerator on a credit card, which is doable, a lot of credit cards will quite easily handle a $1,500 fridge, right? If they decided to use a credit card and they didn't pay it back for like 3 years, well, they might pay like over $1,000 in interest, which means they've almost bought an extra fridge. That's why credit cards are so dangerous, right? High interest rates. So this was pretty good, 2.25. 0 is better, right? Like if you're shopping for refrigerators, there's lots of places that sell them, you know, and if you don't have the cash, you got to finance it, which means you need to borrow. Find the place that gives you 0. Okay.
Yeah, this is different from me.
Yours is different?
Yeah, I think so. You want to check it out?
Are you following along? Is it?
Yeah, this one, right? Example. Isn't that it?
The question's different.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Yeah, okay.
That's alright.
That's okay, just skip that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, your version's different. Everybody's got the same numbers as me, 3 years, 2.25? Okay, that's odd, because his booklet's different. Okay, so at this point, you can start working through the personal loans assignment, which is on page 25. And then we can, the answers should be correct in the back, but tomorrow we can sort of go through them together quickly as well. Okay, so use your time to work.